So Vidura is speaking to Maitreya. Here he is talking about hearing from the mouths of pure devotees about pure devotees. Hear from pure devotees about pure devotees. Now, who are the pure devotees? That Vidura is telling, pure devotees always think within their hearts of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, who awards his devotees liberation. The pure devotees always think of Krishna because they have intense love for Krishna. It's natural. Even in the material world, somebody has developed some so-called love or attraction. Then they always think of that person. Similarly, devotees think of Krishna always because of their intense love for Krishna. And by such thinking, they can always see the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. So, this thinking is not simply like somebody may think of some materialistic person or material object. It is not like that. This is something different. Krishna says, Man mana, think of me always. So the recommendation is, if you want to think of Krishna always, you have to chant and hear the Hare Krishna mantra. That is the recommendation. This thinking of the Lord in different yugas, different processes are recommended. In Satya Yuga, the recommendation is to think of the Lord always, constantly meditate upon Him. In Treta Yuga, what is the recommendation? Perform fire sacrifices in which He is the enjoyer, beneficiary of all fire sacrifices. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha. 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna reveals this most confidential knowledge. Even though somebody may do Indra Yajna, still who's the prime beneficiary? For whom is it meant? It is ultimately meant for Krishna. Krishna's satisfaction. Yajna means to satisfy or please Krishna. Sometimes the devatas, being carried away by some wave of material thought, the devatas think that they themselves are the enjoyers of such sacrificial offerings. Like we see in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, the description that Indra thought, why have these Brajavasis stopped Indra Yajna? But Indra is not able to understand that what is or who is the real enjoyer of that Indra Yajna. It is Krishna. So what did Krishna do? To remind Indra, Krishna directed the Brajavasis to worship Govardhan. Why? Because Govardhan is Krishna himself. So Krishna is telling, in effect, worship me. offer sacrifice unto me. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Everything Krishna recommends, do it as an offering to me, worship me, think of me. So Krishna is the object of everything mentioned in the Vedas. It is not any other personality, any other goal, only Krishna. But this is often misunderstood. Either people think Krishna is very egoistic, demanding that you worship me only, or you worship me, or you surrender to me alone. Some people think, oh, why is Krishna demanding like this? But what they don't understand is Krishna is not in need. He is never in need of anything. Then why does he ask? For our welfare, for our benefit. If we don't offer to Krishna, then either we enjoy ourselves or we offer to somebody else. So enjoying ourselves is selfish. Offering to somebody else is generally driven by a selfish motive. Because in such offering, the selfish motive is, I want something in exchange. I want something in exchange. Just like the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. To encourage people to come gradually to the point of surrender to Krishna, the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas encourages people, oh, you have some material desire, and that can be fulfilled in a particular way, as it is recommended in the Karma Kanda section. So what is the idea behind this recommendation? The idea is that gradually such a person will come to the point of surrender to Krishna, offering to Krishna, worshipping Krishna. That is the intended goal. But that goal sometimes is missed out. Especially in Kali Yuga, when people are having so many disqualifications. Alpayushi, they have very short lifespan. Manda, they are very slow in spiritual realization. Sumanda Mataya, they are easily misguided. Manda Bhagya, they are unfortunate. Above all, they are always disturbed in the mind. Upadritaha, always disturbed in the mind. So with these disqualifications, how can it be expected that people will follow the Vedic directions for gradually elevating themselves to Krishna consciousness? That's not going to happen in Kali Yuga. Therefore, the Kali Yuga recommendation is, whatever you offer, offer to Krishna directly. Now that offering also, if somebody tries to offer by following the Vedic injunctions as regards fire sacrifice, then too many rules and regulations, stringent rules and regulations which cannot be easily followed by people are there in that section of the Vedas. Agnihotra, Vajapeya yajna, so many yajnas are there. To follow the rules is so difficult in Kali Yuga. First of all, people cannot get qualified brahmanas who can properly chant the mantras. When some offering is done in the fire, the important aspect of that offering is the correct chanting of the mantras, transcendental sound, which makes the offering properly reach the intended recipient. Now, if a pure Brahmana chants these Vedic mantras, because the Vedas ultimately are only glorifying Krishna, all Vedic mantras chanted purely by a duly qualified Brahmana are direct offering to the Supreme Lord Krishna. But if the chanting is not pure, then it appears, or it seems like, or it is misunderstood to be some offering for somebody else other than Krishna. Like with the very name of the sacrifice, Indra Yajna, it's meant for Indra. So somebody may ask, if the yajna, Indra Yajna is intended as an ultimate offering to Krishna, why is it called Indra Yajna? Why not directly say Krishna Yajna? What is the reason? Because those who do not want to directly make an offering to Krishna, or don't want to directly surrender to Krishna, for such people, some incentive is given. Okay, you worship Krishna indirectly. Because the recommendation to worship Krishna in the scriptures is also there, but such worship is meant for bhakti. Worship of Krishna is meant for bhakti. In rare cases, somebody may be directed to worship Krishna under expert guidance for fulfillment of some material desire. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. He was told by his mother to seek some benediction from Vishnu. So he is asking his mother, where is Vishnu? Mother says, I have heard he is in the forest. So this boy is going to the forest. Then Krishna took compassion upon this boy and sent Narad Muni. So Narad Muni tried to give some practical instructions to this boy, Dhruva, small boy. But he was not willing to hear Narad Muni's initial directions. So then Narad Muni said, okay, he is so very adamant, let me tell him what is actually to be done. And Dhruva heard that and said, okay, I will do it. The intention was, I want a very prosperous kingdom, greater than my father's kingdom. So, even though the recommendation in the scriptures is that you worship Krishna or you make a sacrificial offering to Krishna for the sake of bhakti, but somebody may, under expert guidance sometimes, make such offering to Krishna for some material benefit. or even for liberation. For any reason, somebody makes an offering to Krishna under expert guidance. Such guidance has to be given by an authority, spiritual authority. Then what happens? Even if the objective of such offering to Krishna is a material objective, it becomes spiritualized. It becomes spiritualized. Another example, what happened in case of Dhruva Maharaj? After seeing Vishnu, he is thinking, why did I worship Vishnu or offer, meditate on Vishnu for the sake of some material benefit, insignificant material benefit? So in the words of Dhruva Maharaj himself, I was looking for broken glass, but I got gem, diamonds, precious diamonds. That means after one actually gets the actual blessing of Vishnu or Krishna, then one realizes that anything else that one may desire other than Krishna himself is very, very, very insignificant. Is very insignificant. So this is the result of the expert direction of the pure devotee. Similarly, the example is given in the Bhagavatam of Aditi. She was very much aggrieved that her sons were defeated by Bali Maharaj and they had lost the control or the ruling power of the heavenly planets. So Aditi, she went to her husband Kashyapa and said, what can I do for my sons to regain their kingdom? So Kashyapa tried to preach to Aditi, all such desires are simply material entanglement. Why do you desire such things for your sons? But Aditi could not appreciate such instructions by Kashyapa. So Kashyapa became sympathetic to Aditi and said, okay, let me make her worship Vishnu with the desire that her sons may get back their lost kingdom. Because Aditi was guided by Kashyapa, so Vishnu personally appeared. Then Aditi was overwhelmed with love, with devotion. And then she became delivered. What did Vishnu say? I will personally appear as your son and deliver that kingdom to your son. Give him back what he has lost. So the Lord performed an extraordinary pastime, Leela. That's the Lord's mercy. Now such mercy is not very easy to obtain. This shows how expertly Kashyapa Muni directed Aditi to worship Vishnu. Payovrata sacrifice she performed. Payovrata sacrifice. So, in rare instances, one is directed to worship Vishnu for some material benefit. But otherwise, in general, the scriptures the authorities, spiritual authorities, always advise worship Krishna for the sake of bhakti. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje. Bhagavatam directly recommends this. Dharmasya hi apavargyasya nartho arthayopakalpate. Very clear, very direct, very simple. Bhaktya mam abhijanati in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktya tu ananyaya shakya aham evam vidorjuna. Maicha ananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, throughout the Vedic literature, throughout the Bhagavatam, everywhere recommendation of Vishnu worship is only for bhakti. In rare instances, under the expert guidance, because ultimately Krishna says, Aham, what is that verse? Krishna says, even though the demigods may award some benefit to their worshippers, it is I only who award the benefit ultimately. What is that verse? Mayaiva vihitan hitan. Tasyaradhanam ihate labachete tatak kaman mayaiva vihitan hitan. Verse number 7.22. The series of verses beginning with 7.20. So read the translation, Vedatma. See, Krishna only gives the benefit through the Devata. Because Devatas are not independent. Devatas are not independent in awarding some desire, fulfillment of desire to their worshippers. So Krishna only bestows. But because people are full of lusty desires, kamaistaister rutagyana. So, when the attempt is to satisfy lust, then such lust can never be fully satisfied to the extent that the person becomes satiated. Means I have no more demand. That point, that position never comes by worshipping devatas, by doing some. Except when the direction of the pure devotee or proper spiritual authority leads to Krishna intervening. So when Krishna intervenes, Krishna satisfies somebody's material desire directly, not indirectly, not through the Devata. Directly, Krishna satisfies. Then Krishna purifies such a worshipper. Krishna purifies. So such purification is not possible by any method other than the practice of bhakti. Only by bhakti there is purification. What does Krishna say in the, what does Sutta Goswami say in the Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter? Shrinvatam sukatha Krishnaha punya shravana kirtanaha Hrudyantasto hi abhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. Krishna is always the benefactor of the truthful devotee. He always wants to give benefit to the truthful devotee. So what does he do? He cleanses this desire for material enjoyment. That only Krishna can do, nobody else can do. So therefore, when somebody goes to even some genuine sadhu, pure devotee, with some material desire, then either the pure devotee blesses in such a way that the person becomes purified of the material desire, or the Supreme Lord intervenes and purifies the person's material desire. There are different instances where, on the advice or instruction or direction of a pure devotee, somebody takes to devotional service. Chitraketu, he desired to have a son, and he sought the blessings of Angira Muni. Angira Muni blessed him in such a way that he came to the realization that all these material benefits are simply temporary. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasam. Krishna directly tells. But sometimes these direct instructions don't appeal to some people. So Chitraketu was given the same instruction which Krishna is giving in the Bhagavad Gita, but after he was given the benediction of having a son and losing that son. So when pure devotees actually bless somebody, then that blessing is always going to result in bhakti. That is not possible if somebody approaches someone other than Krishna or pure devotee. Some devata. Devata cannot bless with bhakti. Not possible. Like so many people are going and worshipping Murugan, Shiva, Durga, Amman, Ganesha. So that cannot result in bhakti. It cannot result in bhakti. So we have to understand that pure devotion or pure devotional service is rarely attained in this world. Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, in the beginning, he says, what are the characteristics of pure devotional service? 6 characteristics, he says. One of them is, pure devotional service is rarely attained. So, when Krishna himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liberally distribute this pure devotional service, or Chaitanya's confidential servitors, they liberally distribute, like Prabhupada, liberally is distributing pure devotional service. That's a very, very great benediction upon this entire world. Is the greatest benediction. Because such devotional service is not available. Even in the heavenly planets, even in Brahma Loka, it is not available. Nowhere it is available. Nobody has ever heard of such a liberal distribution of Krishna Prema anywhere. It's very, 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 very rare. So we are very fortunate, extremely fortunate. Our good fortune we can't even evaluate of having come in contact with this Sankirtan movement. We cannot evaluate. What is the greatest fortune of a conditioned soul in the entire universe? Lochandas Thakur says, Brahmara Durlabha Prema. Such pure devotional service, which is even difficult to obtain for Brahma. Brahma has done so much sacrifice, so much of austerity, so much of meditation. So much Brahma is engaged in different types of welfare activities, different types of service to Krishna. Brahma doesn't know anybody other than Krishna or Vishnu. In the beginning, who is there when Brahma is born? Only Vishnu is there, nobody else is there. So that Brahma also, for him it is very difficult to obtain Krishna Prema. Of course, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Brahma was also given that Krishna Prema. But it is very, very rare to obtain. Very difficult to obtain. So that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur and all the pure devotees of Chaitanya, they are simply distributing without considering any qualification. So we simply have to accept, receive that blessing, that mercy. Simply have to receive, that's all. If we don't take, then we are the losers. But whoever accepts, they are very fortunate. Because there is no consideration of qualification. See what happens, why qualification is to be considered? Only then the person will have value for what is being given. You understand? If a person is qualified to receive something, that means he knows what is the value of what he is getting. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not even think or consider whether people are qualified to receive pure devotional service. If he considers qualification, most people will be disqualified. Then where is liberal distribution possible? It is impossible. In this world, it is impossible. Material world, kingdom of Maya, it's not possible. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided, I will not consider any qualification, I'll just give. So he is giving means everybody is not accepting. This is a fact. Everybody is not accepting. Still, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is so great. Like when in Navadvip he was distributing Krishna Prema by performing street Sankirtan, he was seeing many people were accepting by being attracted to the Sankirtan and joining the Sankirtan party and participating wholeheartedly. But some people were escaping, denying to accept, missing out. So he thought that why not give this Krishna Prema through Sankirtana even to those who are escaping or missing. Therefore he took sannyas. Extraordinary pastime of the Supreme Lord as Chaitanya. There was no need to take sannyas. But just because some people were missing out, he took sannyas. Then what happened? People like Sarvam Bhattacharya, Prakashananda Saraswati, and so many others, they all received Krishna Prema. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Otherwise, they will think here is some sentimentalist who is an ordinary householder. He is chanting and dancing like a bhavuk, means sentimental person. Some sentiment he has got. Emotionally, he is excited. So he is chanting and dancing in the streets. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in order to correct people's misunderstanding, so he took sannyas and became very grave. So, these are confidential pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not easily understood, even by great scholars. But the only purpose is how to give Krishna Prema to everybody. To everybody. So, Krishna consciousness is very rare and not easy to obtain for a conditioned soul in this world. But by good fortune, some rare souls will get it. And when they get it, there is no consideration of qualification. So the conclusion is, we should not be very proud of being recipients of Krishna Prema or the Krishna consciousness. We should never be proud. Always. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stresses this humility. Trunadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadaharihi. Don't become proud. Be humble. Be tolerant. Then you can properly cultivate Krishna consciousness. Because even though you've got the highest thing, but in a state of disqualification, you don't have value for it. You don't have value for it. So develop the right value for what you have received. It's the most precious gift you have got. It is greater than anything else in the whole creation. So then when we realize this Hare Krishna mantra is the most precious gift I have received, then very, very carefully you will treasure it, you will keep it, you will very nicely chant Hare Krishna, sincerely, properly, in a sober way, applying your heart and soul, you will chant nicely. Then immediately there is Krishna Prema. In the beginning, when we are chanting, we are not so serious about this chanting. We don't know the value of this Hare Krishna mantra. So, we will develop the right value for it by the other recommendations given in the Nectar of Devotion by Rupa Goswami. Follow the principles. Otherwise, Hare Krishna mantra is independent of any other rules. In awarding Krishna Prema, It's not that Hare Krishna mantra chanted according to particular rules and regulations only will give Krishna prema. No. Example is Ajamila. He chanted Narayana, not exactly understanding, oh, Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narayana is completely transcendental. All that Brahma describes in the 10th canto, 14th chapter about Narayana. Nothing he considered, nothing he was conscious of. Simply he called out Narayana. So immediately. So in rare instances we see somebody chants without any intention, without any knowledge, without any particular, without following any particular rules, and then they are delivered by the holy name. So such instances are very rare. Such instances are very rare. We cannot expect that somehow I will chant and I will get the same mercy and blessing as Ajamila got. No. Because the Supreme Lord is transcendental autocrat, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says in the beginning of Brahma Samhita. Swarat. He is the independent Lord, fully independent. But through the pure devotee, it is guaranteed that we will get Krishna's mercy. Through the pure devotee. So, we approach Krishna not directly but through the pure devotee. Then we are assured of getting the ultimate benefit. Even though it takes some time, but still we are assured. We approach Krishna through the pure devotee. So I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.